Hey everybody, Tex-Mex here. Thanks for joining me for another video. Today we're taking a look at the Marlin Camp 9. This particular one was given to me by a buddy of mine to look it over. He got it from somebody else who had it sitting in their garage for well over a decade. That buddy of mine is into nicer firearms. He certainly doesn't like trashy guns, so he didn't know what this was. In fact, he thought it was a 22. But when he gave it to me, I immediately recognized it as the Marlin Camp 9. I had never had one, I'd never shot one, but you know, I remember seeing these back in the day when they were being advertised, and was excited to get my hands on one. When he first gave it to me, I started working the lever, and it was kind of getting stuck in the back when I'd work it, even without a magazine. And at first I thought maybe there's some sort of bolt release I'm unaware of. But then I got on the internets and did a little bit of research and realized that the original plastic buffers that came with these, because this is just a blowback system, so they put buffers in the back. It was made by some sort of plastic that over time started to fall apart and crumble. So I ended up pulling it apart and did see that it was the original buffer was just in little pieces back there, and it was cramming up the bolt. So I ordered a new buffer because they still make them, aftermarket ones that are supposed to be a little bit better. I went ahead and replaced the bolt spring as well on the guide rod. And today we're gonna shoot it for the first time to see if it functions. I'm not a gunsmith, so I can't guarantee this is actually gonna work, but I figured my viewers might as well go on this adventure with me. It's a pretty little gun. It sort of looks like about the size of an M1 carbine, and like the M1, it has the safety here in the trigger guard, which I'm a big fan of. I just think for somebody that's used to these types of triggers, you can actually tell when it's unsafe and fire with your trigger finger. You don't need to use any other hand. Other than that, like I said, they came out with these in 1985 in the 9mm version. They use these Smith Wesson Model 59 double stack magazines. Well, at least that's what this one came with. I'm not sure if they had their own proprietary magazine, but this one came with a Smith Wesson. And then the 45 version that came out the following year, I guess in 86, used 1911 style single stack magazines, which that's pretty cool. But yeah, I haven't seen one of those. I wanted to see if I could find some higher capacity magazines for it. It's hard to find Model 59 magazines right now, but I did find some Pro Mag magazines. So this is a 32 round Pro Mag, and this one is, I think, a 20 round Pro Mag. So I haven't heard good things about Pro Mag. It's not typically a magazine I buy, but we'll see that as well. We'll see how these Pro Mags work well and cycle through this firearm. So not a whole lot else to say about this thing. I can tell you the trigger is not great. In fact, here in a second, I'll put this camera down so we can look at that together. The sights are the old, you know, kind of buckhorn semi-style sights with an orange insert in the front. When I got this firearm, this sucker it was almost coming out from the side. So I guess from just being stored roughly, it got hammered in. So I actually had to hammer this thing back to center. So I'm not even sure if it's hitting where it's supposed to be hitting, because I just kind of tried to center it with a tap and hammer, and it seems to be doing well. But it does have some screws here, so I could put a base on it if I wanted to and put a red dot. But for now, we're just going to go with open sights. So here, give me 1 second. Let's set this up and check the trigger weight. Okay, so I've got my trusty Wheeler trigger gauge here. Let me drop the bolt. Safety is off. We'll take our first reading here. Oh. Well, it's saying 11 pounds. That did not work. Let's try that again. Does it have a magazine disconnect? Yes, okay. Now let's check the trigger. I've got my trusty Wheeler Engineering trigger gauge. I just found out that this has a magazine disconnect, because without the magazine it won't fire. The magazine doesn't have to be sitting all the way, just a bit in there, and then it will fire. So let's work the action there. Take our first reading. 5 pounds, 7.3 ounces. Not bad, actually. It's usually worse than that. Let's try it again. 5 pounds, 14 ounces. Well, almost 15. One more time. Just over 6 pounds. Not a great trigger. I mean, for a little carbine like this, it's fine, but it's relatively stiff. This isn't a gun you're going to be doing some sort of accurate long distance shooting with. But let's go ahead and start having some fun. We'll load up some rounds in the magazine that it came with, and then we'll try the Pro Mags. Before I load the magazines, I wanted to mention that as you see in the thumbnail, I was finally able to get some 9mm. It's starting to show up on the shelves again. This is Herter's. I bought a 500 round super pack that came with 5 of these 100 round little packs. Never tried this ammunition in the past. Well, I take it back. I actually have bought Herter's shotgun shells, but never any of their pistol ammunition. So this will be testing that as well. We're going to try our first round with the magazine it came with. And she's empty. It works. That's great. Now let's try those Pro Mags, see if they work as well. Now I apologize if the shooting isn't exactly level on the camera. I'm having to put the GoPro on my hat, and with my headset it's hard to get it level. But now we're going to try one of the Pro Mags, the 20 round. We put as many in there as we could. I hear a little bit of rattle. That doesn't sound good. I'm not sure we got all 20 rounds in there, but let's see if it cycles what we were able to get in. Nope, it won't even sit. Well, there we go. Took a little bit of forcing it in. Not a good sign, but we sat the magazine in there. Let's see how this works. Jam already. Well, the magazine looks okay. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it. Let's try that again. Nope, another jam. Well, we'll try a third one. In fact, this jam looks like it did. This is something you got to be careful with. It nosedived that round so poorly that it set the bullet back. And you want to be careful when you're trying to fire a round if there's bullet set back in there, because they're going to have higher pressures. It's best just to leave that round be and not use it. So we're going to try one more. If it doesn't work, we're going to call this Pro Mag a failure. I mean, I guess it's possible that if I put some other sort of follower in there, it might work better, but in fact, I'm going to give it a good tap on the back to make sure everything's seated properly. Okay. Nope. I see what's happening. I think the Pro Mag's letting the round sit a little too far forward, and it's catching under the feed ramp. Yeah. Well, these 20 round mags, Pro Mags, which are supposed to be, I guess, Model 59 Smith Wesson replacements, save your money. They are trash. Let's try the 30 round. I'm not going to have high hopes for it, but we might as well try. Now we're going to try the 32 round magazine. No rattle on this one. I'm thinking the follower on the 20 round was getting stuck somewhere down there, which is why some of those rounds on the bottom were rattling, which may be why they weren't sitting well. Okay, this one seems to lock in right. I'll show you that again. It seems to be locking in well. Okay. First one went in okay. Yep, that one worked well. That's nice. So I guess 1 for 1 on the Pro Mag. We're gonna check the other magazine, take all the ammo out, see if the follower just got stuck on the bottom somewhere, and try it again. Okay, we're back to try the Pro Mag 20 rounder again. I did not get a full 20 rounds in there, and it's very difficult. As I'm loading it, I have to keep tapping it to make sure the bullets are seated all the way back, or the follower wants to nosedive, and once it starts nosediving, all the rounds just start messing up. So let's see if we can get it to work now. I can tell you it already does not want to load even the first round in. It's nosediving. Let's try that one more time. Tap this back. Well, if I'm doing it with the bolt closed, it seems that the bolt is pushing them back. So let's try this once with the bolt open. Yeah, we'll try this again with the bolt open and see how that aids in loading. Well, nope. You can see it doesn't even want to load the first round. So these 32 round, the 20 round Pro Mags for the Model 59 Smith & Wesson JUNK, save your money. Although the 32 round one worked, so I would have thought it the other way around. Okay, I'm embarrassed to say I bought 2 of those 20 round magazines. So just in case maybe I had one lemon, let's try the other one, and we're going to try to load it first with the bolt closed. Now, well, yeah, it went in okay. Well, it loaded the first round. Let's see. Oh, jam. And you can see here, it did not load it right. So, ooh, the bolt really bent into that round. Look at that. So, and you can see how the rounds are now nosediving. So yeah, these 20 round Pro Mags for the Model 59 Smith & Wesson, stay away. And just to be certain, we're going to try the 32 round magazine Pro Mag one more time. Let's see here. Oh, go ahead. Oh, we're missing it. There we go. That is a lot of fun. So 9mm carbines are kind of starting to come into their own again. And if you can find a Marlin Camp 9 cheap, doesn't have a great trigger, but it's got a good weight balance as well. This one apparently back in the day was tested and targeted by Steve. So thank you, Steve, for making this quality firearm. And if you're watching this video, Steve, make sure to like and subscribe. So anyway, you all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.